Hey, Facebook fam, welcome. This is episode 1 of Elite Women Live. I'm your host, intuitive success coach to female leaders and influencers, Vanessa Petronelli. It is so good to be here. I've been so excited for the launch of this new series for the last week. I noticed butterflies and anticipation. And I'm especially excited to have my special guest with me today. Actually, she was the woman that helped to birth and bring this into reality. I'm going to introduce her in just one moment where we will start to share screens. But yeah, this is exciting for me because the reason why I wanted to do this and why this special guest, her name is Ruby Fremon. We had this empowering, in-depth, deep dive, awesome conversation a few weeks ago over Zoom. And what came from that conversation, by the time we were at the end, we're like, oh my gosh, this would have been incredible if we had actually recorded this conversation and shared it with our tribes online. And I sat with that for the last couple weeks and I was like, this would be actually really, really cool. This would be a really neat idea to do this. What would it be like? What would it look like for me to make this happen? And that's how inspired ideas, soul-aligned success starts to happen. We allow that inner guidance to drop in and drop through. And then what happens is this amazing creation. So I'm so excited to welcome Ruby Fremon. I'm going to share my screen. Hello, darling. So good for you to be here. Awesome. So you tell us a little bit about your title, because I when I was reading your title, because I know you personally as my colleague, as my soul sister, you're, a badass, fellow entrepreneur, female leader, but tell us a little bit about your title of why you call yourself what you do. So the audience just has a little bit of an understanding of what that means and what that is.
Yeah, so I call myself a breakthrough coach and igniter of inner power.
Yeah.
And I help facilitate breakthroughs in my clients. And the igniter of inner power is really all about me empowering my clients. Like, I don't believe that this is, I'm not in it to tell people what to do. I'm in it to really help people harness that power within them so then they can do what it is that they're meant to do.
Yes. I love that. I know I found when I was doing a little bit of research on her more formal background, because I know you as a person.
I have a formal background?
Well, on your website, that kind of thing. I was like, oh, because I was inputting your information also into my mailing list to let everybody know about this. And I was like, wow, I love how you title yourself. It's really original and unique, just like you. I mean, I honestly couldn't have thought of a more perfect guest, since you also were a part of this, contribution to making this happen in that conversation. There's no better guest than you. And what's so awesome about you, Ruby, is that I know you're real and you're raw and you're authentic and there's no bullshit with you. Mm-hmm. And I really respect that, because there's a lot of bullshit out there. Mm-hmm. Right?
So, like, copious amounts of bullshit. People are drowning in bullshit. It's just all bullshit.
So how do you feel like you don't bring bullshit? Tell us a little bit more about that too. Like that, because I love that. That's so unique, and I so resonate with it.
Yeah, so I have a zero tolerance rule when it comes to bullshit, whether it's serving it, dishing it, or receiving it. It doesn't happen. And I think that, there's too much bullshit out there, and it's really just a bunch of people parading around in masks and portraying what they want to portray. And that's not cool. It's not authentic. Mm-hmm. And, for people leading businesses, like other leaders, to lead by bullshit, that doesn't really get you the clients you really want to work with. Like, try leading by example. Try being the thing that you are helping people with. Try representing your work. Try being super authentic and real. And try showcasing when you fuck up, because there's something really liberating about that.
Yeah, I love that, because that's the whole point, right? We're human. Leaders are also human beings, we have our fuck up moments. We have our mistakes. We have our times. I know I call these things like seasons and cycles, right? Where we go through our down periods where we can't get a client, let's say, or we can't make money, or things just feel really stuck and stagnant. And then we have these other periods in our lives, you know, where things are just blossoming and we're rocking it, like we're totally killing it and crushing it as entrepreneurs. But what I think people are so afraid of showing, and we've even talked about this a few weeks ago in our conversation, is that so many people wear the masks to portray that, you know, they have to show up a certain way in their social media or with their clients or in the world, almost to hide what's really going on underneath, right? It's like we want to know the real person. Like, I don't know if you agree with this, but my feeling is it's like people don't often come to us for information. Mm-hmm. Like, we're on information overload in the world. Like, you can go to Google and type in, you know, breakthrough or spirituality or success or any of these things, entrepreneurship, right? And a plethora of stuff is going to pop up. Yeah. People come to us for who we are being, for who we are, for our energy, and for our authenticity. Like, that's truly what I believe people are coming to each of us for, and other entrepreneurs. But too many people, I think, are selling this like mask, this role, and that is portraying a certain image online.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because there's people out there that keep buying into bullshit. So as long as there's still people out there buying bullshit and listening to bullshit, the bullshit's still going to exist, right? Mm-hmm. But the way I look at it is like, I don't want those people who are buying the bullshit. I have no interest in having those people in my tribe, because in my eyes, they're not ready. They're not ready for the real, raw, authentic shit. They just want to be served bullshit, you know, a facade, like what they want to believe to be true. When in reality, like, let's face it, life is messy. Entrepreneurship is not like this, just all rainbows and sparkles, although I wish it was. I mean, and when I see people portraying themselves in that way online, I don't know, like it does something to me. It makes me feel sad, I think, a little sad inside, because I feel like it's like, you know, this whole thing with the magazines out there and fashion magazines, and everyone's like getting mad at like all the photoshopping and all the editing and like, let's just be real. Let's showcase real women's bodies. I want that to happen in the coaching industry. Like, I want that to happen in the entrepreneurial world. Is I want people to just be real, because what you're showcasing isn't real, and you're setting these unrealistic ideals for people. And then those people are buying into it and investing their time and energy and everything. And it's just fucking bullshit. You know, it's fucking bullshit.
It's fucking bullshit. Totally.
So like when people are starting to wake up. People are starting to wake up, and they're starting to sniff it out. People's bullshit radars are getting bigger. And so I think the more that happens, the more people like us can like really start to emerge. And I feel like everyone hits that place in their life where they get sick and tired of bullshit, you know?
I do too. So when I hear bullshit, I often or see bullshit in this industry. I'm just going to say it like it is. It's like selling this dream or this lifestyle. There's nothing more infuriating for me. I'm just going to vent this.
Yes.
Real
vent.
Than seeing these advertisements for, this might upset some people, but I'm going to be unfiltered. I'm just going to do it. For like MLM companies and even the coaching industry and spiritual work, all like just even entrepreneurship in general. But I really see it happening a lot in those communities where it's like, we're selling a lifestyle. We're selling, we're not actually selling something that is so sacred and true to who we are. Mm-hmm. We're selling this dream, this fantasy for a lot of people, because I'm going to be straight up. I don't think entrepreneurship is for everyone.
Mm-hmm. It's not.
It really isn't. I think a lot of people think that they are cut out for it, and they're really not, because this is a job at the end of the day. It's a fun job if you make it fun, but if you don't have a lot of connection to what it is that you're doing and your why and this mission and yourself, what's going to start to happen is you're going to start to have this make-believe fantasy that, oh, this company or this industry is really hot right now. I can make a lot of money doing that. And the reality is that it's not like that. It's just not. And so I see a lot of people coming into entrepreneurship thinking it's going to be a certain way because they've been sold this fucking bullshit dream. The truth is, it's like, I've been at this for like 9 years. And when I look at my business sometimes, I'm like, I love my business, but I'm still not, where I dreamed of it being 9 years ago. Have I gotten like very far along on my path? Absolutely. And I know that if I didn't have this very strong why inside of me, like if a very clear vision of where I saw my work going and the connection to what was moving through me. So for me, it's very much about my spiritual mission in the world to help more people awaken, to help shift this consciousness. It's always been that way for me. And I'm going to tell you, there has been so many times where I have just wanted to fucking throw that towel in and give up and say like, oh my God, this is impossible. Why am I doing this? But I always come back to it. Why? Because I'm very connected on a soul level. I haven't just been sold a dream, some bullshit on an advertisement or a Facebook ad or on social media that I can have this freedom-based lifestyle and make millions sitting on my laptop. Yes, it's true. And there are people that do it. I know that there are. I have had a lot of wonderful clients that have had a ton of success, starting up their businesses, going in MLM companies, all of that stuff. I think it's great. But the reality is that for some people, because if they don't know themselves, if they don't really know who they are, if they don't really know what they're here to do on the planet, and they start these businesses and it's taking years and years and years for them to really see something that they would define as success, they feel really bad about it. They don't feel like they're enough. They don't feel like they're, oh my God, like there must be something wrong with me that this isn't happening. When it could very well be that this is just not for you. Do you know what I mean? Like I get very frustrated when I see online a lot of coaches and people in entrepreneurial communities talking about, let me help you get 6 figures in 3 months. I know. It's like the biggest pet peeve I have is seeing that shit come online. Like, really?
Yeah. Give me a month. No, what is it? Like, I can help you make 10K a month.
Yeah.
And then here's a picture of me on the beach with my laptop.
And the pina colada.
Yeah, and this can be you.
Yeah.
I'm going to share an ad with me in the kitchen with an apron on, with the laundry machine going, and then with like everything else, my messy office, and just be like fucking real. Like this is the life. And I agree. Like, I think there's too many people portraying like entrepreneurship as this, you do this and you're going to reach ultimate success. And it's like, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. 100% agree. Who it is for, it's for the people who are fucking passionate. It's for people who are fearless. Like, and I don't mean like we have no fears. We have fears. Okay. Let me tell you, we have fears.
Yes.
But we work to conquer those fears. So maybe the better word is conquerors. It's for passionate people. It's for conquerors. It's for people who are driven. It's for people who know how to fucking hustle, because like, as much as I hate the word hustle, like as an entrepreneur, you are hustling. Like,
oh my God.
From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed, we are literally creating our lives. And that takes a lot of energy, And so it's not easy.
It's not. I mean, I don't know if you see this, because I feel like I've gotten to this point, or if you practice this, like, I have adopted, there's definitely the hustle. There's definitely moments where I'm hustling. There's no doubt about it. Like, I've got a retreat this weekend, finishing up my women's program. Yeah, really excited. My ladies are coming in this week. And then I got the retreat in Sedona. And I'm hustling because I actually didn't really start to publicly promote that until like May, because I was going through a shitstorm of emotions and stuff in April. Like April, want to talk about fears and worries and stuff coming up to the surface. April kicked my ass. I did a Facebook Live about this. I love being real about that because I'm human. You're human. We're still going to have these things that come up, these tendencies, these old stories and patterns. You know, the difference is that we have trained ourselves enough to recognize them and see them when they're coming up, and to pivot or shift, you know, ourselves in the process, so that we're not being taken down or believing into those stories long term.
Yeah, because we're fucking ninjas.
Yes, we are. We're Jedi ninjas. You know, totally. And here's the thing, like, there is hustle, but I have to be honest, like, that hustle, it has to be aligned for me. Like, the hustle feels good sometimes. Like, I feel really good in it. But, like, let me be honest with you. I go to the pool a lot in the middle of the afternoon, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not talking to anybody. I'm not answering anything with clients. I'm not going to promote anything. I'm not going to go on Facebook. I'm not going to answer comments. Like, I'm just going to also enjoy my life. And I have to actively create that, because I also have the tendency to overwork and to be on all the time. And, you know, over the last few years, one of the things that has been really important for me is to learn when to step back. To learn when to slow down, because at the end of the day, yes, you know, my mission, and I know your mission, is to help people. We're here to help the masses. We're here to impact people's lives. We're here to create the breakthroughs, create soul-aligned success, you know, really rise and uplift other people to see who they really are. But, you know, this is not just my only mission, as I know this is not just your only mission, right? It's like, I also have a mission to feel fucking good. Like, if I'm hustling in my business and this is not feeling good, and I'm like upset or you know, exhausted or drained, and I'm not enjoying it, like, I know that if I hit that for a long period of time, something's out of alignment. But I also know that, like, that's the only place where my focus and my energy is going to, and something needs to shift, right? It's like, that doesn't just need to be our only mission, is helping people or serving humanity, right? Like, it's not our only purpose in life.
No, it's not. We all have multiple purposes, and we, as humans, we get to choose which purposes we put focus on, right? So yes, there are a ton of entrepreneurs out there who put their sole focus on their mission, and they're like, if this doesn't fit my mission, it's obsolete in my eyes. And so they'll cut, and that means that they won't hang out with friends. They won't respond to, you know, they take great pride in not responding to their messages, like, because I'm just about my mission. Whereas for me, I'm like, dude, okay, I have multiple purposes. One of my purposes is to be the most incredible wife to my husband. Yeah. Another one of my purposes is to be the most incredible future mama to our kids. Another purpose is to create a beautiful home life in our family, because I'm very family oriented. You know, my family is incredibly important to me, so I value family above everything. So for me, it's like, I built a business. They said it couldn't be done, but I built a business where I literally, like, since day one of this business, I will shut down by like 6:30 or 7. You know, my latest coaching call will be 7 p.m. But usually by 6 p.m., some days even 4 p.m., I shut down. Yeah. And then I go into the kitchen and I start prepping dinner, because this is what I love to do. But this is also what I see as my purpose. My purpose isn't just to help other people. My purpose is to also build a really good life for me and my family, you know, and enjoy it and be happy and feel fulfilled. And so, you know, there's the other piece of bullshit I think that's out there is like, work-life balance isn't real. And I'm sorry, but do you want to talk? Because I have work-life balance. Hi.
Yeah,
it's the emoji. Hi there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, don't, to everyone listening, it's like, don't listen to everyone's bullshit and take it as reality. You get to decide what is real. You get to decide what is your reality, because what is real for me may not be real to you, and what is real for Vanessa may not be real to you. Your reality might be totally fucking different. So focus on what's real for you, you know, and go by that, not all the bullshit out there, you know? Like, now I don't even know what we were talking about.
Well, we started with bullshit. And we went a little bit into the venting mode. And then we were just talking about, you know, and hello to everyone, by the way, like hello to everyone watching. Ruby, I don't know if you see on your screen some of the comments coming up.
I do.
Oh, awesome. Just welcome to everybody who's here, who's joining us. Say hello. We're kind of in the jam part of our time together, and you know, soon we'll come in, we'll take some questions if you have any. So this might be a great time for you to also, commenting is great, but also, you know, let us know if you have a question that you want to ask, you know, Ruby or myself or both of us around this piece. Again, this is just like real unscripted live. We didn't know what to talk about. We didn't, you know, literally like before we hopped on this call, I just wanted to make sure her tech was all set up because this is also my first time doing this, right? So, we're just jamming as we would. Like if this is like Ruby and I on a Zoom call or on the phone, I know we'd be talking about these things because we do.
We always do.
Amongst other things.
Amongst a lot of other things, we always do. Vanessa and I got really close in Shasta. I'm telling the story.
Oh God. Really?
Vanessa, I don't even know, like, how did we first meet?
Oh my gosh.
It feels like a mystery.
Well, I remember because I lived in Santa Monica and we hung out. We went to
I know I met you in
place.
the galaxy before we came into Earth.
Yes. We were cosmic queens orbiting in those ethers, and then we decided to drop in and be
we're going to be friends. But I mean, on Earth,
friends.
On Earth, how did we meet?
You know, that's a really good question because I can't think of it. I think it was through Archangel Academy. And then did we get put in touch through somebody in there?
No, you asked me for a ride.
Oh, that was to Shannon's place. Yeah, shout out to Shannon Graham. Yes, he had a jam at his place in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And he was like, Ruby, could you drive us up?
Yeah, and I was like, who are these people? Sure.
I remember when you came and you showed up at our place and we were living in Santa Monica. And I could tell that Ruby was kind of like a little apprehensive. Like, I got to ride 2 hours from LA to Santa Barbara. And these people are freaks or weird, because Jeffrey was with us too. Jeffrey's my beloved. If you don't know me or have seen photos of us together. So we were driving up to this beautiful network.
And he kept saying crayons.
Because Americans say crayons different than we say. They say
by the way, everyone, we're both Canadian. So we say crayons.
Crayons. Shout out to our Canadians.
Apparently Americans call crayons cranes.
Yeah, I don't get it. I know they make fun of us. They make fun of our accents all the time.
I don't have an accent. And then we got really close in Shasta at a mastermind retreat where we had to share a bed. Yes,
we did. So it was, this beautiful big house that we were in, this mansion. It was glorious. And I actually said I actually said this to Ruby when we were in the car driving from Sacramento to Mount Shasta. I was like, I know we're going to be friends. And I could feel like this part of me being like, I can't wait to, know Ruby. I can't wait to get closer to her. I just knew that there was something really special about our connection. And then we got to Mount Shasta. And I don't know who chose who, but I was like, we can share beds to get the bed together. And so we ended up sharing the bed together. And
I think it was the common thread of, I fart at night, so do I. Okay, we can share a bed.
That's exactly it. No, because people might have this other idea. We shared a bed and like this crazy, I don't even want to go there, but like, I was like, by the way, I'll pass gas. I'll fart in the middle of the night.
And I was like, it's okay. I do too. We're good.
Yes. And then we were bonded sisters for life.
So this is the side of the entrepreneurial world that you don't really see a lot of. Yes, even entrepreneurs fart.
Yeah, totally.
but what I loved about that trip is that we got to connect. So here's what I find I'm going to say coaches. A lot of coaches do this. they don't know when to take their fucking coach hat off. Like, I'm friends with you. Why are you trying to coach me?
Yeah.
Like, did I ask you? Did I pay you money? Am I asking you to coach me? Stop fucking trying to coach me. I just want a friend right now. I just want you to hold space. I just want you to like be real. And like coaches don't know when to take their fucking coach hats off. And I found that when we were in Shasta, like we all had our coach hats off, but like me and you especially, and we just like played and had fun and really connected. And I don't know why that's so hard for coaches. And it's like that unsolicited advice, like stop.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wrote a post about this a couple of weeks ago about like asking for permission, because this is a big problem, whether it's a coach or like a psychic, you know, intuitive person, like, oh my God, I can read, I see something behind you. Like I'm an intuitive, you are intuitive as well. And like we have the ability to connect and see and feel things that may not be in the, you know, the five senses. But aside from that, just because we coach or we help people or we can see or feel things that maybe somebody else is not aware of, or they can see within themselves, like a blind spot, doesn't mean that we should be doing that to people. And like, it really is a time and a place. Like, again, it comes back to that whole thing. Like, can you just be authentically you as a coach, as a human being, and like, just be real and not feel like you have to portray this like certain image all the time and wear this certain role or this identity. I've been talking about this a lot because it's one of the things of like, for my retreat in Sedona for women, one of the things that dropped in as a download for me was these women attending have to take their masks off. Have to let these identities of who they think they are as leaders, as successful women, as coaches, as teachers, as therapists, whatever they're doing in their work, and actually stop just seeing themselves as that and actually really allow who they are to step through and shine through, and also be opened to knowing who they are in an even deeper level. Because we have these like preconceived beliefs as a coach or a teacher or whatever, that we have to be a certain way all the time, that's who we are. But it really isn't. Like, we're so much more than that. And that's why we have to be able to be in our most playful self, like allow ourselves to feel joy. Like, we can be the wife and the daughter and the sister and the mother and the friend and the farter in the bed. Like, you know, like we're multifaceted, multidimensional beings. And so I think that too many people identify too much with this title instead of actually just being themselves. And, you know, it's a really limiting way of living. Like, you're limiting yourself if you're only going to be living with this coach hat on. You're limiting your potential too, right? And your opportunities to grow, because for a lot of people, when you're wearing the coach's hat or the teacher's hat, whatever it is that you're wearing, you close yourself off to also learning, you know, and to also being. And there's so much to be said about just being, you know, like being who you are when you are, being with your feelings, whatever those feelings may be, being you, no matter what's going on in your life, you know, like, don't be afraid to show that you have fear. Don't be afraid to admit your limiting beliefs. Don't be afraid to talk about when you've hit an upper limit. Like, let's talk about those things, because the more that we bring these things up to the surface, the more that we can all come together and rise up together, right? Like, I also, on the flip side of that though, so I'm also like you, like, I share when shit happens in my life. You know, I've been talking a lot about how this past month I've been going through this weird funk, but I don't share things when I'm processing. Yes.
And I think that there's, this has to do a lot with integrity. And I think, you know, you have a lot of people, now I'm just jumping topics. You know, there's like,
good. This is conversations.
People who like go on Facebook and they're like, I'm gonna word vomit all the shit that I'm going through and like project everything. And like, that's not healthy. That's not healthy processing. I think it's really important, as leaders, especially as leaders, is to give yourself the space to process what it is that you're going through and process that and then communicate it. you know? So it's great to talk about, like, you know, when you went through this funk, but I don't like to talk about the funk when I'm in it, because that's not processing, that's projecting. Yeah. And I like to talk about the funk once I've come out on the other end, so that I can also share my experience with it and provide a solution, you know? And there's something so sacred with processing. And I feel like not enough people understand the sacred nature of processing and what it entails. And that we as human beings, we're so fragile. And when we start to project, we're actually deflecting our healing energy outwards versus taking it inwards, right? When we feel like we need to post a rant on Facebook because we're going through something shitty, you're deflecting your energy from healing you and healing what you're going through and processing your emotions, and you're just projecting it outwards. And you're never going to find your solutions that way, ever.
I am absolutely with you. You took the word right out of my mouth around the process when we're going through our stuff, as I like to call it. You know, you're calling it funk. Love it. It is a very sacred process, because there's also, I feel this, when we talk about authenticity, I don't know if you see it this way. There's a lot of people who think for me to be authentic means I have to just tell everybody and show everybody what's going on in my life, because this means that I'm authentic by doing this. So if I tell people I'm really freaking down today, or things aren't working out, or this happened, and look, I'm going through this process, and we actually haven't been in that like cocoon, the metamorphosis of what it feels like to go into our process and out on the other side. There's also this belief that I think a lot of people are feeling, for me to be authentic, I need to be sharing everything. You know, social media, I would say we're oversharing. I think a lot of people are oversharing every single moment of their life or their day, you know, and it doesn't have to be that way, especially when you are going through something that is personal. Like, I don't share actually everything on my social media at all. I don't share quite a few things, but there are things that I feel that are going to be valuable for people to learn about me and my life, my processes and things that I'm teaching or I've been learning. And I also feel that when we share, when we're in the process of going through our stuff, we're also very vulnerable. So if somebody or something comments, you know, and that creates even a greater trigger for us to feel like, oh my God, like, why am I not getting the support? Or why did that person say that? It can actually make that wound go a little deeper almost. So it's like, share when you're on the other side of it, but also be really cautious of, like, when you're in that process, when you're in your funk, when you're going through your stuff, like, there's something sacred and beautiful about keeping some things private. And then when you're on the other side of it, when you have a teachable moment, you know, as one of my teachers in grade school, I think even Oprah says that, a teachable moment, then you can share the solution. Then you can share what, you know, you went through, because there's clarity. Like, it's like there's a neutral energy around the process you've just been through, rather than being in it and sharing it with everyone, you know, because you're just open to anything and everything. And I also look at it from an energetic point. When we're sharing so freely and openly on something like social media or Facebook or Instagram, whatever it might be, energetically, we're also opening our field up to people coming in when we're in a very vulnerable state, you know, so our auric field opens up. It's easier to get holes and punctures into our field. It's easier to let some energies in that maybe we, on a normal day when we are actually feeling really solid and connected and centered within ourselves, we're not as open to, because we have our solidity within ourselves. We have that groundedness within ourselves, because I think sometimes when people overshare, they're also wanting attention.
Totally. They're doing it for a reason. And attention, and the attention isn't given to them in the way that they want to see it, you'll get triggered, you know? And so really respect and honor the sacred nature of processing, and know when you're ready to share, like Vanessa said, it'll be like this neutral energy versus something that feels a little more volatile, you know, a little more dramatic. And you don't want to go from that kind of energy. You want to be in a neutral place and offer, you know, again, like a teachable moment And especially as leaders, like for those, entrepreneurs and coaches who are listening, like you want to present teachable moments, but that doesn't mean you're being inauthentic. That means that you're being responsible. Because if you are going to use your social media to just vent and project and gain attention, you're using it irresponsibly, and versus if you give yourself the space to process and to heal what you're going through and then to share and share how you did that, that is a beautiful teaching moment. And that is you using your responsibility wisely with social media. I mean, that's what social media is, a beautiful thing. I mean,
it is.
I mean, both of us grew up without, computers. Like I can't wait. I can't wait until we have kids and we're going to be like, oh yeah, we just had this home phone. And I used to do my homework on a typewriter. No shit, people. I used to do
a typewriter.
And like, so I feel like we have a better understanding of how to unplug and when to unplug because we've lived in an unplug era. Whereas I feel like true millennials, like millennials who have only grown up with digital influences, it's harder for them. And like, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who's listening, but like, it's harder for them to unplug because they don't even know what life was like unplugged. Yeah. Whereas like, I grew up playing in the backyard, picking worms out of dirt.
I did too. I love that. I was such a tomboy growing up. Yeah. I love doing that stuff.
Like video games wasn't a thing until I was older. So I think there's also that, I feel like there's a lot of people out there using social media as a venting source because to them it's like their diary and that's all they've known, right? Like this is my diary. Whereas I had this scented diary, those diaries where you open up, it smells like flowers. And it had a little key. Yeah. Little key. That it doesn't really do anything. You can open it anyways. And I would write, "Dear diary, today really sucked."
Now we do it on our updating our status, right? People are like, "Today sucks," and this is what happened, and I honestly, I'm not really saying this from a place of judgment around it.
Not at all.
We all have our opinions and all that kind of stuff. I just think that when we're talking about being real and authentic, there's parameters sometimes around this that we got to embody and we've got to remember. And it's like, there's also, I think like all of this is just weaving together so beautifully this whole conversation, because what I also see in there is there's a time to be online and offline.
Yes.
In our lives, in our businesses. And that's what creates that balance. That's what creates this feeling of like, I have separate purposes that are all one because this is it fully encompasses my life and who I am. Yeah. But there's a time to be online and there's a time to be offline. And I also really loved what you said at the beginning, because I know that this is so true with you. Ruby's really good with her boundaries around being on and off, and it's been an edge for me, especially being somebody who has worked so much in the past. Like I know how to be on, like I said earlier, like I know how to work those long days if I want to, but I'm not doing that very much, if not at all anymore. In the last couple of years, I've really become stringent around that. And I know that for me personally, like my edge is starting to put more of my boundaries around even the times I'm checking social media, checking email. And like, Jeffrey and I have been practicing this a lot, like even with television or Netflix, like having those parameters around switching things off and actually connecting as human beings, like as partners and also in relationships, right? Because most of our connections are happening on the black mirror, right? It's happening through a screen versus actually being in person or even being with ourselves. Like not everything has to be public. Not everything has to be online. And it's creating boundaries of when you need to be online and when you should be offline.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. It's funny because I was just talking to a client about this because she was talking about comparison and comparing herself to other entrepreneurs. And, in these particular entrepreneurs, they kind of it seems like they put everything out there. But again, they're just selecting. They're still just selecting what they put out there, right? It seems like it. I feel like the loudest entrepreneurs, the loudest people are the ones that feel like they have something to prove. Whereas there's people like us who I like to call the quiet leaders, even though we're not quiet, but we are, we're quiet. You'll never see me like, I don't think I think I've written updates about like, oh my God, like I've reached that level of success that I always dreamed of. I think I've written stuff like that, but I have never shared like numbers. I don't share, those kind of details, because to me, it's not of service to my tribe. That's not a service. Like, I'm not here to help you become a 6-figure person.
Right.
I'm here to empower you. And I don't feel like those numbers are empowering. And so there's things that I keep offline, and there's things that I put online for a reason, And like, my client had said, yeah, that's right. I never see you do stuff like that. I only see a lot of stuff about you and your husband. And I was like, yeah, because I'm so in love. No, but it's also because, I know that it's inspiring to see love, the kind of love that we all have. And so I think it's important to share that. But it's like, life doesn't just exist online, right? Yeah. So why should we? And,
that's awesome. Yeah.
And it's like, someone write that down. Hold on. What did I say? Because that's a love punch.
Does anybody, that's a good one.
Doesn't exist.
All I heard is like Oprah saying, that's a tweetable moment.
So why should we? Okay. That's going to be a love punch. But like, okay. So I think there's a lot of, I'm going to address the women entrepreneurs out there. I think there's a lot of women out there who feel like they can't have it all. Like, you can't have the career and the family. And that's bullshit. You can. It really is a matter of prioritizing. And the reason why I bring this up with the offline, online topic is like, everything comes down to your priorities. So if you make it a priority to be online all the time, then that's your fucking choice. If you make it a priority to build your business and only be all about your business and not your family, that's your fucking choice. Like, you telling yourself, I don't have time. I just went on a rant about this online the other day. We all have enough time. We create time for the things that are most important to us. So the biggest lie and the biggest disservice you can do is by telling yourself that you don't have enough time. You have an abundance of fucking time. We prioritize things in our lives that are important to us. So if the things you truly want, for the women out there who are entrepreneurs, if the family isn't happening, then maybe it hasn't become like a big enough priority to you. Like, I'm sorry to say, but maybe it's not that important to you that you're making it a priority. Or if your business isn't where you want it to be, are you making it a priority to get to where you want to be? Do you want it bad enough? Like, everything in life comes down to wanting shit bad enough. You have to want, I always say, like, you have to want it, not want to want it. And there are a lot of people out there who want to want it. Like, I want to want a successful entrepreneurial business. I want to want this healthy relationship. I want to want self-confidence. And it's like, but you don't want it. You don't want it bad enough. So that's why you're not achieving it. That's why you're not getting it, And like this in terms of balance and online, offline, everybody's talking about like, I want this. I want this work-life balance. I want to have like these evenings off. I want to have these vacations. You want it because it's not happening in your life right now. Because if you really wanted to take a vacation every year, you would take a fucking vacation every year. Like, that's just the end of it. But you are not in that state yet. You haven't shifted into that place of like really wanting it.
Yeah, I love that distinction so much. So fucking much. It is a huge difference, because there's like this relentlessness that goes to actually really wanting it and doing everything you can to make that possible. And then this wanting to want it is like, it's like talk is cheap. It's like, oh, I'm just going to say that I want that because it sounds really cool, or I love the fantasy or the idea of it, but I'm not actually willing to do what it's going to take to make that happen. So many people are like this. It's like, because where we put our focus, our energy goes there.
Yes.
So that's something that's really important for people. And I'm sure people watching in both of our tribes have heard us maybe say something like that, or have heard me say that, or Ruby say it in some sort of way. It's like where you're putting all of your focus, your energy is going there. I think for most people, they don't realize, they're not maybe connecting enough in terms of their awareness that where they're putting their focus on things that maybe aren't actually as important, but it's becoming important because your energy is going there and your focus is going there. It's like if we're focusing so much on our stories about who we are or how life is or how things should be, everything is going there. Our life force energy is going there and it's shaping and creating our reality. It's the same thing with time. It's the same thing with our businesses. It's the same thing with, you know, family, all of those things. It's like, if you want something, you've got to prioritize your focus, your time, your energy, your devotion. I don't think we have enough people in this world who are honestly devoted enough to what's most important to themselves. I really don't think that we have a society that is as committed to the things that really matter to them. I think more people are devoted and committed to the bullshit. Just like we said earlier. Yeah, their excuses, their stories, the past, you know, things that they don't like, you know, saying yes to things that they're tolerating, you know, all of those things. And so I'm with you on that. You know, anything is possible. That's one of the things that I really feel is very synergistic in both of the services that we do. It's like anything is possible, but you have to really want that for yourself. You have to believe in it enough. Believe in that more, what is possible, your potentiality, than the bullshit that you're telling yourself about your life. And you've got to be able to do what it takes to make that happen.
Yeah, you have to be, I always call it conviction, because it's stronger than a dream, it's stronger than belief, it's conviction. It's like you have to be convinced that what it is that you want can and will be yours. You have to be fucking convinced, because that conviction is going to create the relentlessness, you know, because this really is a relentless pursuit, like a relentless pursuit to make your business successful, a relentless pursuit to keep yourself feeling fulfilled. Like it's this relentless nature within you that's going to get you the things that you want to get. Like I always call it, like, you got to do whatever the fuck it takes to make it happen. And if you do not embody that type of energy, it ain't going to happen, you know, like not everything just gets handed out on a plate. Like you have to create your life. Human beings are so fucking cool. Like we are so cool because we have the power to literally create our lives. We create our lives. And when you start to understand that you have this power to create your life, everything changes, you know? So let go of the victim story, let go of your excuses. Like you're still going to hear them. Like I know there's a lot of people listening who are like, but how? Okay. Let's be real. You're still going to hear this stuff over here. This is my inner bitch. She goes like this all day long. Still to this day, she's always yapping in my ear. And I'm just like, you know, like slap her away. But what you have to do is, I always say, like, you know how horses wear those, what are they, visors?
Those visors,
Right? So sometimes what happens is our visors come off and we start to listen to all the bullshit around us and we start to focus on lack, right? Like what we don't have. Oh, I'm not there yet. Oh, I don't have this. And you lose sight of your goal, which is right in front of you. You're focused on all this stuff. So like you said, like this is where all of our energy is going now, which is keeping us in this place at the start line. Like it's just keeping us here. So you got to stick the visors back on and start moving back towards your goal. Focus on where you're going, not where you are, right? Focus on where you're going. And every time you lose focus of where you're going, shift back. It's an active shift. It's a conscious shift. You just do it mentally. You tell yourself, okay, I'm going to focus now on this goal. That is how you do it. That is the magic button. That is the secret sauce. I'm sorry, it's not like an actual button, but all of this reprogramming that we do with our mindsets, it's all active. It is not this thing that happens unconsciously. We do it consciously. It's conscious effort, conscious action over and over and over again until our minds have become reprogrammed. And even when they are reprogrammed, this inner bitch is still going to talk.
Still there. Yeah.
Still there. But we get better at dealing with it. Like she's talking. I'm like, whatever.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Really bye, Felicia.
I know, mine's Mara. Bye. Bye, Mara. Thanks. Have a great day. Totally. Ruby, you've hit something so important, because I think that a lot of people come into our kind of work thinking that there's like a magic pill, because we live in a society, especially when everything is posted online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where everything's convenient.
Yes.
Right? Like, we live in a society that expects things to show up right on that silver platter.
Yep.
And when you start to do this type of transformational work, this inner work, it doesn't happen in a way that you're thinking. It's not going to be convenient. It's not going to be this passive experience that you're going to go in and you're going to wake up in 3 months or 6 months, sometimes even a year. It can be years, right? Where things are starting to shift, where the changes are starting to take place, where you're starting to feel freer and more liberated. But it's also, you've got to be active in the day-to-day processes of what, you're doing and where you're putting your energy and your focus.
Yeah, it's like this rose quartz. I'm going to hold it in my hand and I'm going to feel totally filled with self-love. That sounds stupid, right? And that's what people are doing. Like, they're like,
this is going to make me feel all this love for myself.
Yeah. Saying this affirmation once is going to change my life.
Yeah.
No. This is like training at the gym. 6-packs don't happen overnight. I'm still trying to get my 6-pack, by the way. It's been fucking forever. It's not there yet. I don't know what's going on. But it's like training for a 6-pack. It doesn't happen overnight. You got to do this day in and day out and really be present in your work and believe in what you're doing and keep your eyes on where you're going. Like that's what this is about.
I love that. It's a great place to start to wrap up too.
Yes.
We'll start to hop off in just a minute. Yeah, I love that. Keep your focus on where you really want to go and shut off the rest. There's a time to be online and offline and really start honing in on your bullshit detectors, people.
Yeah.
And start, you only get sold into bullshit when you're bullshitting yourself. And we bullshit ourselves when we're not connected to here. When we're not actually discovering who we are, when we don't have enough self-awareness and connection to our bodies, to our minds, to our souls, to our intuition, because we know truth. We just do, right? So, Ruby, any final words before we maybe answer a question or two? If anybody has a question real quick, and then I would love to hear what you're up to and where people can find you if they want to be in touch with you and your magnificence.
Do you remember that card game Bullshit?
I don't. There's a card game called Bullshit.
Oh, I got to teach it to you at our girls' weekend. So there's a card game. I'm sure there's people who know this. That's bullshit. And you say bullshit when you think someone's lying. And I've always wanted to do that online. Like anytime I see someone post something like bullshit. No. But I wanted to just add on what Vanessa was saying about the bullshit radar. If something you see or read or hear doesn't quite sit right, then don't force yourself to make it your truth.
Yeah.
Because our intuition does know. And if, I call it my spidey sense, my spidey sense perks up when stuff doesn't feel real, when stuff isn't real. So, but the first step is really you getting real with you. Get real with you, get real about your bullshit, the bullshit that you're feeding yourself, and get clear on that. Because once you get clear on your own bullshit and take ownership for it, then you can start utilizing this beautiful bullshit radar that we all are equipped with called intuition.
Yes.
To mute out all the bullshit around you. How many times did I say bullshit in that sentence? Probably
many times. I mean, we've gone off the record charts with bullshit.
Because I do what I want.
Yeah. Awesome. So is there any questions? Guys, thanks so much for hanging in there with us. It's been amazing to have all of the wonderful energy here of everybody who's been online. I'm scrolling through. Thank you so much, guys. Hey. Nubia, Nod, Agnes, Brooke, Anel, Jackie, Jeffrey, thank you for joining. Jen, so awesome. Hasina, awesome. There was a question from Agnes here. I think we actually did cover it when she said, how do you still show up during the funk? I feel that I'm in the funk, and how can I show up authentically, not sharing that?
Yeah, so I think it's like show up for you first. It's not, don't worry about showing up for other people, because if you're in a funk, you need to show up for you first. Like that's your number one priority. So show up for you, do what you need to do. And then once you've processed, then you show up for others.
Totally. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Diana, thanks for also tuning in. So if there aren't any questions, what's going on with you? Like, what would you love our audience to know about what you're up to right now? Because you're up to so many awesome things. Ruby's outstanding, and I know you've got some cool things going on. So I don't know what you want to share with everyone. Yeah, you really do. I love it. And this is so awesome because I love collaborating and supporting my fellow sisters who are also doing amazing things in the world, because there's enough for everyone to go around. I really want to promote that. Like, we're sharing each other, we're sharing our wisdom, we're sharing our knowledge, we're also sharing what we're up to, because, you know, it's important that we do that and we support one another to continue to get this work and our messages out into the world. So what have you got going on, Miss Ruby?
So right now I've got not much going on. I just came off of like slaying all my goals. And so that's why I was saying like last month was this weird place for me, because I literally slayed all my goals. And I was left with this clean slate of like, okay, now what? So I'm in creative brainstorming process of my next big project, but I will hint at two things that I'm currently working on. One is a digital program, the first digital program that, yes, I'm a coach with no digital programs. So I'm working on my first digital program to be launched later this year. And I'm also working on products, which I'm so excited about. So a Love Punch deck and some other swag. But other than that, you can hook up with me online. Hook up with me online. That sounded a little... I'm married. No, but you can hook up with me online. I'm just going to say that all the time. You can
hook up with me online.
On Facebook at I am Ruby, on Instagram and Twitter.
I think I can write that actually on the screen. Hold on. I am Ruby. Let me show that.
If you just like type I am Ruby. Ooh, look at that.
That's awesome.
If you just type I am Ruby in the interwebs, you'll find me, basically.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. Great. Thank you, love. And I've got my Sedona retreat, Elite Evolutionary Women's Retreat, coming up in June 19th through 22nd. I've got a few spots left. So if you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, if you're conscious, you're spiritual, you're on a path of advanced spiritual and self-mastery, I'd love to connect with you and see if this is an opportunity for you to join other women like Ruby, myself, you know, women who are up to amazing things in the world. And it's going to be fun and nourishing. There's also going to be an opportunity to really focus on business and growth and celebration. It's over the summer solstice, which I'm so excited about. Really stoked for this next super creation. So I'm in the midst of launching and enrolling right now for that. So if that piques your interest, I'll actually do a little on-screen here for you too. This is so fun. I love this. I feel like I have my own little TV studio here. Just make sure there's no typos. You can go on over to eliteevolutionarywoman.com, or alternatively, you can just pop me a message here at V Petronelli and we'll connect. But Ruby, it's been amazing having this conversation live. Thank you so much for being my first guest.
Yes.
Like, was so much fun. We were in a deep dive for quite some time, almost an hour. And I know you got to go. I got to go. So thank you for being here. I love you. You're my soul sister. Thanks for being real with me. And I can't wait to continue to support you in everything that you're doing moving forward.
Oh, I love you so much. And I love that we said bullshit like 1,001 times.
Yes, me too.
I think it was really awesome.
We kept it real, girl. True to what I promoted online.
Yes. Yes.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining. I will be back in 2 weeks with my second guest. I'm going to keep you in suspense of who that is. Have a wonderful week. Keep commenting, keep sharing, stay in touch with Ruby and I, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye. Much love, guys.